Why does your mind never seem to fully rest? Even when your body is still, your thoughts continue moving. You replay conversations. You imagine future problems. You analyze things you said days ago. You prepare for situations that may never even happen. And eventually, the mind becomes exhausted. A lot of people today feel mentally overwhelmed, but they often assume something is wrong with them. But what if the problem isn't that your mind is broken? What if your mind is simply overloaded? Modern life asks the human mind to carry an enormous amount. Noise, information, pressure, stress, comparison, constant stimulation. And most of us never truly stop. Even during moments of rest, the mind keeps working. Buddhism understood something important thousands of years ago. Much of human suffering comes from attachment. Not only attachment to possessions or people, but attachment to thoughts. We become trapped inside our thinking. A thought appears, and immediately we follow it. What if this goes wrong? What if they don't like me? What if I fail? What if something bad happens? And the mind keeps building story after story after story. The problem is that the brain cannot easily tell the difference between a real danger and an imagined one. So your body reacts as though the threat is real. Your nervous system becomes tense. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your mind becomes tired. This is why so many people feel mentally exhausted today. Not because they are weak, but because the mind was never designed to stay alert every moment of every day. Buddhism teaches that peace begins when we learn to observe thoughts without becoming trapped inside them. That doesn't mean forcing thoughts away. It doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist. It simply means learning that not every thought deserves your full attention. One of the most powerful Buddhist ideas is mindfulness. Mindfulness is often misunderstood. People imagine it means emptying the mind completely. But that isn't really the goal. Mindfulness is simply awareness. Noticing what is happening in the present moment without immediately judging it or reacting to it. For example, imagine you suddenly think, "I'm failing at life." Most people instantly believe the thought, then the mind starts building more thoughts around it. But mindfulness creates a small pause. Instead of immediately believing the thought, you simply notice it. You observe it, you recognize, this is a thought. Not, this is reality. That small shift changes everything, because thoughts come and go constantly. Some are wise, some are fearful, some are simply habits of the mind. Buddhism teaches that freedom begins when we stop treating every thought as truth. And honestly, this takes practice. Modern life trains us to constantly react. React to notifications, react to stress, react to opinions, react to fear. Mindfulness teaches the opposite. Pause, observe, breathe, return to this moment, not tomorrow, not next week, not every possible future, just this moment, right now. One breath, one step, one moment of awareness, and slowly, something begins to change. The mind becomes quieter, not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you stop feeding every anxious thought with endless attention. You begin to realize that peace is not found by controlling everything around you. Peace begins when you change your relationship with your thoughts. This is one of the reasons Buddhist teachings remain so powerful today, because modern people are suffering mentally in ways that feel deeply connected to what Buddhism has always described: attachment, craving, fear, endless mental activity. And yet the solution Buddhism offers is surprisingly gentle. Not force, not perfection, not becoming emotionless. Simply awareness, simply returning to the present moment again and again. So if your mind feels exhausted lately, maybe you don't need to fight your thoughts so aggressively. Maybe you don't need to solve your whole life tonight. Maybe the first step toward peace is simply noticing that your mind has been carrying too much for too long. And perhaps today, you can allow yourself one small moment of stillness, one slow breath, and one reminder that not every thought deserves your attention. Thank you for being here, and if these reflections help you feel calmer, more grounded, or more understood, you can explore more daily Buddhist reflections through the link below. Take care of your mind, and move gently